Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Hey guys! I gotta say, I'm impressed that I made it here without being too late. Not even 5 minutes late. I was only 3 minutes late, 4 minutes. I just washed my hair. Oh my God. I just got out of the shower. I washed my hair. I blow dried it like really quickly so that I would be able to make it in time. You know what happened? Today, was one of those days. You have those days where you get up early. However, you're just in bed, scrolling, and then someone calls you. So I love when my Canadian friends call me because, it's different. I don't get to see them, right? And so being able to chat for an hour with one of my friends from back home and everything, that was amazing. And then, thankfully I had already put together everything for today's episode of the Morning Report, but oh Lord, afterward, and then I had done a little bit of an oil bath. So I was like, okay, let me go wash my hair and start filming. How are y'all doing on this beautiful Tuesday? We've got Caroline in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Jaleesa. Nice to see you here too. She stayed up late watching people's videos from Cowboy Carter. Oh, wasn't it so good? And I gotta say, because some of the Beehive members here, they were talking about going to Cowboy Carter last night. So if you went last night, please let us know how it was. No spoilers, please. Actually, go ahead. It's already on the TikTok. Let us know how it went. It looked so good. I love that video that we saw of Rumi just being so excited to be up there for the song Protector that she loaned her voice to and everything. Really, really beautiful. Hey, sweet bonjour. Nice to have you back, boo. Hey, Gala. Nice to see you. Ronnie, Nikki, Jessica, East, awesome. Acacia, Venetia, Monique, Linda, Tadisha, Jasmine's here as well. Good morning. Good morning. Kung Fu Grace, how was karate? Listen, actually, I gotta bookmark this so I can come back to it because I have an update for you on that. Good morning, Jasmine, Monica, Kristen, Michelle, Ashley at Marshall. Wow, Tekaya from Curacao. Wow, hablas español in Curacao, right? Right, that's true. Such a beautiful country. I didn't know people in Curacao knew me. That's so cool. Awesome. Nice to see. I met someone from Curacao when I was vacationing in the Algarve 2-3 years ago. It was so, he was so lovely. Hey, Ashley from Dublin. I'm coming to Dublin in June. Oh, hello, Dublin. Hello, Ireland. Nice to have you here. Nice to see you. Shauna as well. And nice to see you, Christy. Good morning. Good morning. And Rumi is absolutely adorable. I'm obsessed with her. So cute. You guys, it is 25 degrees in Paris. It is sunny. Life feels, this is what I was thinking when I was walking down the street. I was like, wow, just something about the winter depression and the cloudiness. It all just lifts the second you touch a taste of sun. I'm like, wow, life feels good. It's okay. It was so nice. So in regards, I have 2 updates for you guys who are here for yesterday's episode of the Morning Report. First of all, the bagel with cream cheese and bacon that I went to go buy at the store to make myself. They didn't have any bagels at the store. Bagels are not really all that popular here. So you have to find them in the international aisles. And so I went scouring every international aisle, didn't find it. But I did get the bacon and the cream cheese. Maybe they'll bring it back another time. You know what I made instead for dinner? A bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. And then I went to go to the dry cleaner to pick up my kimono, as they call it, for karate. It wasn't ready, so I couldn't go to karate. So yesterday, what did I do? I didn't even go to the movies. I wanted to watch Sinners, but I just couldn't figure out what to do, basically. And so I was just kind of okay, what do? I watched that Bravo Love Hotel, which I told you guys to watch, and I hope you guys watch. So freaking good. I cannot wait to tune into that. I mean, to talk to you guys about that. And I hope that you guys really, really start watching it. It's so good. You will not regret watching Love Hotel on Bravo. I think it's exactly what Bravo needed to add to their programming in Western NY. 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, that sounds hot, right? That's hot, right? Like that's 20s. Listen, we do Celsius here with the rest of the world, Bill. What's 83 Fahrenheit? That's got to be at least 20, right? In which case, absolutely love to see it. Love to see it. And Star is here as well. Good morning, Star. Tuning in from bed again. Oh, had dreams about my exes. I'm sorry, Bill. I'm sorry. Listen, hopefully today's episode of the Morning Report will take your mind off of your exes, girl. Don't worry. We've got you today. We've got lots of distraction. Speaking of exes, how could I have forgotten to bring this up in yesterday's Morning Report? Dorit filing for divorce, finally, from PK. Wasn't that interesting to see? She's finally done that. And she's asking for sole custody of the children and some child support, unsurprisingly, right? And then at the same time, we also saw those new photos of PK out with his new girlfriend. And shout out to his new girlfriend. This girl looks absolutely freaking amazing. She's supposedly in her 50s. Look at her. She looks stunning, doesn't she? Like she has kept herself right. Truly, truly, truly. So, you know, and it's kind of sad that we live in a world where, you know, seeing like a man who's like older, right, in his 50s, you know, out of shape and whatnot, seeing him with a woman his age is absolutely remarkable. So, you know, I was really, really happy to see that. And congratulations to Dorit, though I do wonder why she held out for like 9 years. I mean, sorry, for the 10-year mark, because on paper, she's the one who currently has the more money, right, between the two of them. So you would think that it would have been in her best interest to get this filed before the 10-year mark. So now I'm starting to wonder, does he have some secret money that he's not reporting and she knows about? And so she's going to send her forensic accountants after. Something about it feels like she knows something that we don't know, in which case, listen. She also took out Real Housewives of Beverly Hills from her Instagram bio, though I don't think that that means that she's not going to be renewed. Listen, that is her main source of income. She just finally added something new and exciting to her storyline, which is that they're legitimately divorcing. So I don't see her getting off the show anytime soon, okay? So keep an eye on that. Anytime I get updates, of course, I will be sharing them with you. Jessica got to watch Sinners. And, you know, I got to explain to you guys why it's hard. In Paris, whenever there are movies, you know, by Black directors or dominated by Black actors, they make it difficult for you to be able to go and watch it. Like in my area, we've got maybe like 6 different cinemas that I can go to within like 5 to 10 minute walking distance, right? And so typically when a movie's coming out, I just go watch it here. But now, because this is a movie with a Black director, Black actors, I have to go further out to be able to watch it. The amount of time, like show times are limited as well, like really odd hours and whatnot. I actually almost even went at like 10 in the morning just to be able to see it. But then I said, listen, I love popcorn and I don't want to be eating popcorn at 10 in the morning, right? So it's really, really irritating, but I am going to do my best to go and watch it. I absolutely have to go watch it. Jessica says, I saw Sinners on Friday with my little cousin. It's not scary, FYI, but I like the movie. I have heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm dying to watch it. Malen says, are you paid by Bravo? I didn't like it because of Ashley. No, I'm not. And I'm so shocked because Ashley was surprisingly amazing in the show. And she was so well dressed. Like typically, I'm sorry, Ashley, but you typically look like a lady of the night, you know, that you find on the side of the street and you pay maybe $10 and a stick of gum, right? That's how she usually dresses. But in this show, she has been looking classy. She has been looking stylish. She has been looking elegant. Like it's, you know, look at her outfit here, right? Like it is a complete deviation from the way that she typically dresses. And in fact, I actually did, and we're going to get into the recap of this later, but I took a screenshot of this one outfit that she wore. Listen, y'all, this outfit, anybody, whoever can help me track down this outfit, I hope it's not Miss Sony because I'm not paying Miss Sony money. But if anyone can help me track down something that looks like this for my summer vacation, I will forever be grateful because this look freaking slays. Her curls, the outfit, the body, everything slays. And I've been shocked. Like you guys know I cannot stand the way that girl dresses, right? But I have been stunned by her in every single scene. She is looking really damn good. And you know, even she and Giselle are less annoying this, you know, in this show. I really love it. Christy says, we all knew PK wasn't going to let Dorit make it to the 10-year Kelly mark, but he did. It was 10 years. And then she was the one who ultimately filed. I'm so shocked. And I think that that's to his advantage because the man doesn't have money. He owes all this like money to various casinos and whatnot, allegedly, right? So I'm very, very surprised, right? And with her asking for money, what money? The man doesn't on paper have money. On paper, the man is bankrupt. They couldn't even buy. Remember, the house was in pre-foreclosure. They had to buy the home with like 12 different people on the mortgage, right? Like the guy does not have money. So I'm really shocked that she did not file sooner. She's making good money on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But listen, PK is kind of known to be a shady individual. So maybe he's hiding money and she knows it. East Awesome says PK doesn't care about custody and probably has the cash locked in trust. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that was it, right? And we already know, didn't he already have a family before that he left, you know, and didn't really bother checking in on or anything like that when he got with Dorit? I'm not saying he left his wife for Dorit. No, it's just, oh, new woman. Who cares about, you know, my old family? I'm going to make a new one. So it kind of feels like he's very, very capable of just, you know, kind of compartmentalizing his lives. Like, oh, the kids that I have with someone, if I'm not with that person, then it doesn't count anymore, sort of a thing. And that's kind of a scary thing, right? I do think that he's going to be very easy to get the sole custody that she is seeking from. I don't think he's going to fight her on that. He doesn't want it, sadly. Anyway, you guys, speaking of people who are very, very, you know, have a very easy time of forgetting the fact that they have children, why don't we talk about Nathan Griffith, father of two, repeat jail inmate. He's facing 4 years in prison because of his latest strangulation situation or alleged strangulation situation, right? As you guys know, last year, he was arrested for strangling his sister. He was placed on probation and he got the itch again. This man, this is what he does. He decided to allegedly do this to his girlfriend as well. She called the police. He hightailed it over to Janelle's house to try and hide from the situation. But ultimately, of course, the police got him in custody and locked him up. According to the Ashley's Reality Roundup, he has been incredibly uncooperative behind bars. And so the police have not been able to really interview him. But it's not looking good for him anyway, right? Because he did this while already on probation, he is facing 4 years in prison. To be honest with you, that's not enough. Because to me, strangulation, especially when you keep on doing this, you know, to domestic partners too, this shows that you are somebody who is, in my opinion, homicidal. Like, you know, these women are talking about losing consciousness, right? They've got these bloodshot eyes, right? All sorts of things. You're attempting to end their lives consistently. So why is it that you're only facing 4 years for that? You know, why wouldn't this be classified as attempted red rum or anything like that? That would be more serious. You know, I feel like that needs to be a charge that is added, you know, especially with somebody with a history like this. This guy is not just doing it to scare them or for fun. This man gets into extreme fits of rage that cause him to attempt to allegedly or seemingly attempt to end these women's lives. And I think that he needs to face stronger consequences than that. You know, 4 years is a joke. You know, when this is the third or fourth time you've been charged with the same thing, especially when you're already on probation from the last time that you were charged with the same thing. And the last time you were charged with the same thing, it was only like a year ago, dude. You know, or actually a year and a half. July of 2023 is when he was arrested, or he pled guilty to strangling his sister. It's not okay, right? And so he's due in court in about a week or so. He's going to be back there on May 6th to address his possible revocation of probation. So the probation that we're talking about is the one that he was placed under in July of 2023, where he was forbidden from consuming excessive alcohol, taking drugs, possessing weapons, leaving the state without permission, and breaking any and all laws. Okay. And so if the court finds that this arrest right now violates his probation, which, listen, the probation sounds pretty clear. Don't break any and all laws. Now here you are being charged because you broke a law. Okay. So if they find that this arrest is in violation of his probation, here's the good news. He will have to automatically serve at least 12 months in prison, AKA 1 year, which I think, you know what, give him at least 1 year. But to be honest with you, he deserves so much more. He really does. It's crazy that people have to actually lose their lives, for people like this who consistently show that this is what they're trying to do. Why does somebody actually have to lose their life before people can be protected? I don't understand it, to be honest with you. I think it's very scary, and I think it's very sad. Jasmine says it's about time Nathan serves time for all these DV arrests, overdue at this point. And you know what? When we think about like other people who've gone to prison, right, for first-time offenses even, listen, y'all, we all saw the Fire Festival documentary, right? That guy, he committed fraud, okay? He committed fraud, and he was in prison for several years, which he should have been, right? However, Nathan, he is seemingly attempting to end the lives of multiple women, and they keep on letting him out. I don't get it. Look at this wall of mugshots behind him, you guys. And, half of these mugshots, if not all these mugshots, are related to aggressivity, violence, particularly violence against women. Anyway, this story makes me sick. I don't think this man is ever going to change, and I think that the judge is going to eventually regret, or all the judges who have seen this man and let him, be back out there on the streets. I think that they are going to regret it, because one day, unfortunately, I do think that Nathan is going to succeed in what it is that he's trying to do. J Dash says, good morning, Grace. Looks like Nathan, aka fake Johnny Bravo, is messing up. He sure is. Nathan, they tried, because they put him on a special kind of probation for people who are veterans and whatnot. And they have all sorts of programs to help these people, but he's not taking advantage of it. He just keeps on going around in the exact same circles. Jessica says, cutting off multiple women's ability to breathe is very concerning. Yup. And indicates you will escalate to red rum eventually, right? Why does it actually have to become the red rum before you face any real consequences? It's kind of like Karen from the Real Housewives of Potomac, Karen Huger, DUIs, 3-4 of them, that you've been charged with, and you don't get charged. You don't get sentenced to actual time behind bars until the 4th one. That's crazy. It's like they were waiting for somebody that they know is very capable of ending someone's life or severely, permanently disabling somebody to actually do it before they make them face any kind of real consequences. And I can't stand that. Tidisha says, Nathan deserves at least 8 years. I agree. Minimum, although lots more. I would like to see this guy just, spend, the rest of his life in jail, to be honest with you guys. LOL says, joined a little late. Good morning, Grace and other co-reporters. I'm loving the Bob moment. Thank you so much. That is so nice of you. Thank you. I'm trying to keep my scalp light for the summer. Ronnie says he deserves to serve time, but so does David, the dog killer. Our justice system sucks. And I agree. That's another one that I think should be locked up indefinitely as well. Speaking of, what is taking so long with his charges? Remember the whole Jay situation? It's been 1.5 years. What's going on? When is that going to be moving down the pipeline? Diddy got arrested well after David Eason, and we're about to start his trial next month. What's taking so long, right? And isn't that one of the foundations of you guys is kind of like justice system, that everybody is entitled to like a quick, speedy trial or something like that? This is taking a while. Struggle is Real says, wow, that's crazy. I agree. Nice to see you, boo. She Doesn't Care says, it's America. DV isn't important unless it's a big time celebrity. And that is so sad. And I feel like that's a global issue, unfortunately, right? The femicide rates around the world are disgusting. Even here in France, they've been having a lot of movements fighting out, because people who commit domestic violence, they're not facing real consequences the way that they should. It's not discouraged enough, right? Because what happens? You re-traumatize the victim by putting them on trial, if they even decide to pursue it and to press charges or whatever. And then ultimately what happens? Charges are typically dropped, or the person is sentenced to probation or a fine or some other nonsense, right? Hey, Luz, nice to see you. Guys, watch the space. I think that this Nathan situation is going to go by much quicker than the David Eason situation. So there will be a lot more updates about that I will be able to share with you as they come down the pipeline. Shout out to the U.S. Sun for being able to get their hands on some of those court documents to let us know what's going on for now. Jessica also says the federal cases move much faster than local prosecution. Most local cases can take years. Oh, I had no idea. I thought this was across the board, that everybody was entitled to this speedy, rapid, whatever, fast trial situation. Thank you so much for letting me know. So I guess that's why the Diddy thing is, going by at the speed of light. Hey, Bianca from the Playback Posse. Nice to see you, boo. Thank you so much. So nice to see you. The speedy trial is only if the accused requests it, especially if they're sitting in custody for a longer time. Maybe that's the difference, because David is not in custody, right? The swamp monster is definitely not requesting that. Nope. He's trying to stay free as long as possible. And to be honest with you guys, unfortunately, I think he's going to be able to skate by on those charges. For some reason, the justice system is just not really interested in taking people like David Eason or Nathan Griffith seriously. Now, speaking of Diddy, I have a weird update about him, you guys. I don't think he's going to be getting out of prison. And it shows in one of his defense strategies. So this came out last night via TMZ that P. Diddy's strategy, one of his strategies to skate on these charges, is to claim that he was not responsible for the things that he may or may not have done to his alleged victims, because he didn't have the mental capacity to commit crimes, right? Because apparently he was wasted all this time with all the drugs and alcohol that he was consuming. It's kind of like someone pleading insanity, right? But with insanity, you talk to a doctor, you can get diagnosed, blah, blah. But, I was high, I was wasted, so I'm not responsible. That is the craziest defense that I have heard. And it's kind of screaming like, oh man, my back is against the wall. I've got nothing. I'm going to try the most desperate attempt I can to get out of these charges. And that is just, my jaw was on the dropped onto the floor when I saw this. I said, there's no way. At least try to plead temporary insanity or something like that, right? So Diddy actually even has a doctor that his team has hired to testify on his behalf, and the feds are fighting against it. They said that it's all just a bunch of BS. And in the documents that they filed in opposition to this defense, they say that Diddy just wants to have the doctor, a Columbia professor, testify that he had a mental condition bearing on the issue of guilt. And so the prosecutors also described the potential testimony of the doctor as evidence of the defendant's inability to control his behavior. So that's the thing about these court cases. And I learned this in watching some of these, iconic court cases that have gone down over the past several years, is that whether you're on the defense or on the offense, you can find a quote unquote expert to testify to anything on your behalf. And it's kind of scary, because here's the thing. Diddy was allegedly doing these things over 20 plus years, right? So the idea that he is not responsible for a single thing that he allegedly did over 20 years because he did not have the mental capacity is crazy, right? This is a man who has been the CEO of a 200 million plus or $500 million empire for the past 20 plus years. And you mean to tell me that this person is not mentally capable? It is such a ridiculous, truly, truly, truly ridiculous defense. And I do not think that it is going to go off in his favor, right? And one of the things that a lot of his alleged victims would say, in their testimonies and whatnot, was that they were forced to consume certain drugs and whatnot. And so now apparently Diddy's saying, well, me too. I was consuming them. If you thought you were effed up, what about me? I can't. This is just so ridiculous. I think he knows that it's over. And this is the most, shocking defense he can come up with. And I think that typically when lawyers are going up against people who are facing RICO charges, trafficking charges and whatnot, they have certain defenses that are more sophisticated than this. And so they probably don't really know how to clap back against this. How do you go, it's so shocking. It just takes you aback, right? And so good. I don't know how this is going to go for him, very, very interesting defense, and like I said, we're going to see Diddy go on trial starting in May. So just in a couple of weeks here. Cameras are not going to be allowed in the courtroom, but we're going to be able to get a lot of updates from the people who are sitting in the courtroom, the journalists, the court reporters, and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. East Awesome says Diddy is pleading rug addiction after rugging people. Bye, girl. Right? Oh, hey, Issa, nice to see you. Welcome to the live. Nikki says, especially since he was the one supplying the rugs and alcohol. Exactly. This is absolutely insane. Meanwhile, when it comes to taking the credit for building this massive empire, which is true. It's an impressive empire that he's been able to build. You were okay for that, and it's all you. And no. Lou says he premeditated all those events. BS. He is so shameless, and so is the attorney. And I completely agree. And I agree with you too, Kels. He knows his goose is cooked. This is the most desperate defense that he could have come up with. It's absolutely like stunning, honestly. Nikki says if he wasn't in the right mind to commit crimes, his victims wouldn't consent to X, etc. Right? Craziness. Truly craziness. I have to give it to the defense. It's their job to try every single defense possible for their client. But I can imagine that that defense will not hold up if he willingly took the rugs himself. Exactly. You're not. And here's the thing. These things that he was allegedly doing did not just start at the moment where you're handing out rugs at the party, right? These are premeditated things where you are organizing with your people. You're browsing through, back pages or whatever to find an escort, where you're telling people what hotel it's going to be in. You're telling your assistant, which brand of baby oil to buy. Like, you were not rugged up this entire time, and you would not have been able to come up with such an intricate operation and plan and carry it out for 20 plus years if you truly were mentally unsound. It's just not possible, right? Milan, you think he's going to be out, unfortunately, because the government have let go of other people who did the same thing, like Elliot Spetzer. So he's going to use the race card. And it is true. I have heard him start using race a little bit to try and get out of this. And listen, that's a story for another day. I cannot. East Awesome says, exactly. The man became a billionaire, but he wasn't mentally capable. By Sean John Combs. Exactly. Come on. Craziness. Tadisha says, I hope the prosecution does go for that. It doesn't even make sense. And you know what? I wish the prosecution luck, because it's just one of those things that just stumps you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, kind of like, what the F is this? Like, what? Like, he's obviously a very intelligent, very mentally capable person. He's been running these empires, several businesses over all these decades. He launched a whole television network, and I'm supposed to, what? Good luck to them, because I'm still just, and you guys can see it. I'm lost for words at this defense. It's been a 30-year reign of terror that Diddy has been on. 30 years. You were not cracked out for 30 years. You've been a father for, at least 20 years too. Like, you really mean to believe? No, stop it. And I did hear about him rejecting plea deals. He should have taken something, because I don't, I know, you know what, Milan, maybe you and I should bet on this. Come with. Think that he's going to be able to escape by on this, but listen, stranger things have happened. Barry says, so he was getting high on his own supply. Boy, bye, right? It's great. Diddy, you're a weirdo for this, for real. Bunny says, you cannot claim temporary insanity when there is a pattern of you doing it. Exactly. No, stop it. Such a weirdo, right? Well, anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing Cassie's testimony. Cassie is very keen to testify against him. And listen, she was in a relationship with him for about 6 years or something like that, 6 to 10 years. And so she could testify to whether or not this guy that she was with 24/7, because he would never let her get away. Remember, when she tried to get in that elevator, he chased after her in his socks and in his towel, right? So I think that she would be able to shed some light on the extent of his rug use, right? Very, very strange stuff. What else did so yeah, he's already got a doctor, a quack, lined up to testify on his behalf. And that's the thing. Like, there's so many corrupt people out there who are willing to say anything for the right price. And it's very disappointing, and to muddy the waters like this. Also worth noting is that Diddy has been trying to block that footage. You guys remember that infamous footage of him in the hotel hallway with Cassie, right? Where he's chasing her down in his towel and whatnot to try and force her to come back to the room for that freak off. Well, he's trying to get that blocked from being shown to the courtroom, but the judge did say that it would be admitted as evidence. So just an FYI on that. He said that CNN, they have the only original. They destroyed it. They chopped and screwed it. We didn't see a real footage or whatever. But yeah, that's just it. And there's also going to be a forensic video expert who's going to be talking about that video. And Diddy is also trying to block that testimony as well. His goose is cooked, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Diddy fans. His goose is cooked. He's staying there. It is not happening. It's not. He's not getting back out, in my opinion. But again, stranger things have happened, right? This comment made me laugh. Ronnie says, I pray no one even blinks an eye at this. Me neither. Same here. Sorry, same here. Like, it's just so freaking ridiculous. I was not expecting something so foolish from him. Yeah, did the rugs make him wake up and run down the hall? Exactly. Drive her back to the room. Did they make him pick up that vase and throw it at her head and whatnot? Like, geez, Theo, Diddy has fans. Eek. Yeah, unfortunately, he does. There are men. And I remember this when Cassie filed her lawsuit against him. There were men who were bullying her in her Instagram comments. They were saying she was a liar. She just wanted money. Everybody's just trying to take Diddy down because he's a successful Black man. All sorts of nonsense, right? So unfortunately, there are some people who are still fans of Diddy, kind of like the whole R. Kelly thing, or the whole, who was that? The Louis C.K., that comedian who flashes people. It's a sad little world sometimes. Now, speaking of somebody whose goose is cooked, did you guys see the news about Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis Kelce, standing on business? There were rumors swirling for a little bit there that Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were on the outs because of Blake kind of getting her wrapped up in this movie drama, right? Involving It Ends With Us, with her and Justin Baldoni. Apparently, Justin Baldoni has been, serving people who he wants to oblige to testify in this case and whatnot. And Taylor Swift is one of them. She is somebody who was frequently mentioned in that lawsuit. Apparently, Blake Lively had invited Taylor Swift to her house to ambush Justin Baldoni and pressure him into going with Blake's final cut of the film and whatnot. And so Taylor's not happy about the bad press that she's been receiving in regards to this movie and the situation. Reports were going out stating that she wanted to take a break from Blake and kind of step back from their friendship, which, listen, it happens to the best of us, right? Sometimes, even though you love your friend, you want to remain being friends with them and whatnot. You might need a little bit of a breather based off of something that happened. Well, it looks like those reports are true because Travis Kelce just last night unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I think Ryan is, I don't want to use like the vulgar way of saying it, but I have to. I think he's shitting bricks right now because there was a recent video of he and Blake, and they were on a red carpet. And so she's trying to look loving. The Hollywood couples, they like to look lovingly into each other's eyes, the hand on the chest and whatnot for like the red carpet photos. She was trying to do that with him. And he was just pointing at the cameras, like, look at the damn camera, sort of a thing. Like, he was just so out of it. And you can see in his eyes, like, this lawsuit situation, because he's very heavily implicated as well. Because, listen, let's face it, the man is a control freak. He started trying to take control of that movie, just like Blake was trying to take control of that movie. He started rewriting scenes and whatnot when he had his own movie to work on, right? Deadpool. I think he's really stressed out. And I'm wondering if their marriage is going to be able to survive this. Because just the body language, the lack of chemistry, his face and everything, like in that red carpet, I don't even know what they were walking the carpet for, but it looked bad. It looked really, really bad. And so now when you see that Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis Kelce, has unfollowed Ryan on Instagram so publicly, I kind of wonder, do you think that signals something that like, he too wants nothing to do with this? Or maybe, listen, this is an angle that people aren't really talking about too much. Do you think that maybe we might even get a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift breakup announcement coming soon? I don't know. To me, that's what that signals. To me, it signals that either he's just trying to take a distance from her friends first before eventually grand finale, he unfollows her too and announces that it's over. Or maybe he's saying, oh, y'all, you guys got my girlfriend wrapped up in your nonsense and I want to get away from it. Which one do you think it's leaning more towards? Y'all let me know, because it could be either way. Here's what I think. I do believe the reports that Taylor is stepping back from her friendship with Blake, at least publicly, right? Because it's just too much negative press for the time being. But I'm not sure that she would full-blown end her friendship with Blake Lively, right? And I'm kind of 50-50 on whether Travis unfollowed Ryan in solidarity with Taylor, or if he unfollowed Ryan because he's like, listen, I'm not with Taylor anymore, but I don't want the press to know it just yet. I want the speculation. So I'm going to unfollow Taylor slowly, unfollow her and announce that. Y'all let me know. Acacia says he looks stressed in that first pic. Does he ever? Listen, the man lost his glow. Some of y'all used to find this man attractive, right? Y'all used to talk about how attractive this man was. He lost his glow. You know, he does not look like the same person anymore. Look at the difference between this guy and this guy, right? It's almost like a completely different person. This situation has not been good to him at all. And listen, I'd be stressing too. If I were about to be sued for $100 million, damn, right? Like Kel says, the whole thing sounds draining. And I agree. All this for like a movie that apparently wasn't even that damn good. I still haven't watched it, by the way. You know, and I still have to thank my friend, Julie. When I was in Canada last year for the summer, you know, we had decided to go to the movies and we were debating. Well, I had suggested we watch It Ends With Us, right? Because of all the scandal. And then she said, no, I want to watch Blink Twice. And I said, okay, sure, let's watch Blink Twice. And that movie, I am so glad that that's what I watched instead of It Ends With Us, because that movie was absolutely phenomenal. Channing Tatum crushed it as an actor. Zoe Kravitz crushed it as a director. It was a really, really good movie. And it's so apt with all that's going on. Y'all saw what went down with Giselle Pellico, and you guys have seen what's going down with the P. Diddy as well. Like Blink Twice, like the timing could not have been better for a movie like that to raise awareness to this sort of a situation. Acacia says that relationship has always been fake. Listen, I kind of low-key do feel like it's a PR relationship as well, to be honest with you. And I kind of wonder, listen, I like Taylor Swift, okay? I think she's a cute girl. I think, you know, she's got the world at her fingertips and she's like a lover girl, right? So I kind of wonder, like, I don't know, like I'm hoping for her to find her soulmate and whatnot. You know, I think that that's what she wants at this point in her life. To be honest, I'm not sure that it's this Travis Kelce guy. I really don't think so. I still don't think she is his real type. And I don't think that he's her real type either, right? But yeah, listen, whatever happens, I hope it works out well for her. I'll just say. East Awesome says, is Taylor Swift in the closet? I'm asking for a friend. Do you think so? Listen, I don't know. To me, I thought maybe she might be just somebody who's maybe asexual or something like that. I don't know. But I have no idea. I think she just is a lover girl. She loves the honeymoon phase of love. And that's why, like, afterwards, it doesn't really work. I think maybe she doesn't really properly evaluate people before committing to being in a relationship with them. And then once all the sparkle wears off and the fun of, like, the honeymoon phase wears off, she looks at the person and goes, we're not compatible. And then it's over. But then again, she and Travis have been together for going on 2 years now, though. So I don't know. And I agree with you. Travis and his whole family, including his mother, they are all extreme clout chasers. They have been monetizing like crazy off of their Taylor Swift connection. And I will never let his mother forget the way that she was calling the paparazzi, walking around with Ziploc bags because she had some sort of a brand deal with them, you know, when Travis started dating Taylor, right? And then the brother, his wife started launching podcasts and he's launching all these, like they're all clout chasing so hard off of Taylor. And listen, you would too for a check. I might, I don't know. Like that is the kind of PR, that is the kind of attention that you'd have to pay millions to get, right? And they got it for free. Get that bag, y'all. Theo says, who thought Ryan Reynolds was attractive? Seek Jesus to those who do. And that's the thing about these guys that like Hollywood tries to convince us are attractive. The amount of them that you look at and you go, I would not look twice at this guy down the street. There's so many more attractive, like, men that you walk by on like a random Tuesday, right? Like it just feels like gaslighting. They kept trying to convince me that man was a hottie. And I just, really? Okay. It's kind of like that guy, you know, there's that guy now that they've been trying to gaslight us about. Who's that guy? Lip from Shameless. He's a great actor and everything, but they're trying to tell me that he's the sexiest man alive. Okay. Blink Twice is so good. Farrah hasn't watched the movie either. Star says, what is a PR relationship? How can you be in a fake relationship for this long? Oh, this is juicy. So And you see this a lot with like co-stars for movies or TV shows or whatnot. It's when, in order to promote a project, typically like two people will, in Hollywood, their publicist will set them up to fake a relationship. So typically it's co-stars in a movie or on a show or something like that. And then sometimes it's people doing different things, but they need publicity for one reason or another, either to distract from something. Shout out to you, Jonathan Majors. He actually went for a full-blown PR marriage. I don't think the publicist set that up, though. I think he actually went out there and did that on his own. And I think that Megan Good really loves him, but I think he's using her for PR, to be honest with you guys. She doesn't care, says the movie wasn't good. She should have sat there and ate her food with Ryan and the kids. Ooh. And hey, Shem Jem, how are you doing? How is your like afterglow from your Mexican vacation? Like, what was the transition like going from Mexico to being back home? Theo says Travis's mother was on last year's worst Hallmark Christmas movie. She's an actress too now. Do y'all see the way that his whole family has been using his connection to Taylor Swift? They are running it to the damn ground. And I wonder if she and Tree Payne have, wised up to this, and maybe it's turned her off too. Listen, don't be surprised if this year we get a breakup announcement. I do not think that this man is the end game for her. Like I said, she's not his usual type, the usual girl that he goes for. And he's not her usual type, the usual guy that he goes for. I just do not see it for the two of them. I think that individually they're going to be able to continue and do great things, but together they're probably at an impasse at this point. You can only fake the funk for so long, in my opinion. Anyway, you guys, give me one quick second. We got a word from some of our sponsors. I'm going to take a sip of water. And on the flip side, you know who we have to talk about? Did I put that photo up here? BJ from The Office, BJ Novak. He has a girlfriend. And y'all remember, he's been in this long-ass situationship, are they or aren't they situation with Mindy Kaling, right? Also from The Office. It looks like that's over. And now he's got this like 28-year-old girlfriend. Mind you, he's like 45 years old. And we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to go over Bravo's Love Hotel on the other side of this message. So if you've been enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up. And I'll catch you on the flip side really soon.
The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Are you looking for the perfect skincare products for women over 30? Look no further than Rothia. Rothia is a skincare brand born from love and made for parents. Their flagship product, the Resilience Cream, delivers clinically proven age prevention benefits such as average 14% wrinkle reduction after 4 weeks of use. Click the link below and receive 30% off your first purchase today.
Now we have to talk about the BJ Novak, Mindy Kaling situation. I wanted to turn on the light too because the beautiful sun went away and it started looking kind of dark behind me. So guys, somebody please, if you live in California, send Mindy Kaling some sort of a basket or something, a hug from abroad somewhere to let her know that we are with her, because this guy, he is such a, I'm sorry, but a middle-aged F-boy. The way that he had been stringing her along forever. And listen, the kid situation, him playing dad to the kids and whatnot, all of that just to turn around, drop her, and get with a 28-year-old TikToker. The whole story is absolutely insane. Again, BJ is 45. He's allegedly the father of the children that Mindy Kaling has, right? Kitten Spencer, aka Ann and Spencer. And now this news, when I saw it, I said, oh my God, this is so shocking to me. And listen, this is nothing against the TikToker. I actually like her and know her. She does these like funny little like spoofs of like, like the cliche character roles in films, like the girl who's a bartender at a small town, like these sorts of things, right? Like she's really, really funny, and listen, I think it's great for her to latch on to somebody in Hollywood or whatever to try and boost her profile, right? I think that that's great too. However, BJ, you as a 45-year-old man running around with a 28-year-old, that is creepy and that is weird, right? I do not like it at all. And I never liked this guy because I always thought that he was stringing Mindy along. And can we be honest with each other here? Listen, I see some people of color in here. Listen, this message is particularly, something that you guys probably notice as well, right? My POCs. Mindy Kaling very clearly suffers from self-hate, okay, in my opinion. just based off of everything we've seen of her, the way that she does her characters in her television shows and in her projects, it seems like she's dealing with internalized racism. And I think that that is why she is willing to accept scraps from this guy. You know, I'm sorry, but this is not even a top shelf. This is what you're accepting scraps from, Mindy, right? For a situationship of how many decades, just for him to go and drop you and get with a random 28-year-old TikTok, like that is crazy with how amazing you are, you know. And Mindy, you know, whatever transformation she's had, I always found her to be a really cute girl already, right? But these days she is especially very, very, very beautiful, right? I think that she could do a lot better. And I hope that this is a wake-up call to her that this guy ain't ish. And I just hate that they did this kind of like, you know, I can't even call it a blended family or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. Like this situation where this guy might be the father of the kids, or he seems to be the father of kids, but maybe they don't want the kids to know, or they don't want the public to know. And so he's very involved while claiming he's not. Like the whole thing is weird, right? And now it worked when he was single, but now as he's trying to get into a serious relationship and whatnot, like that's going to have to go away, right? I don't know any girl or any girlfriend who's going to allow for her boyfriend to be hanging around with his 20-year situationship and her kids and playing daddy to her kids and whatnot. And who's going to suffer in that situation but the kids, right? Of course, Mindy as well. But I think it's just a very, very messy situation. And I feel bad. I wish she wanted better for herself. She could have done a million times better than this, you know? And again, I think that her internalized racism has a lot to do with the situation, because yeah, it's just jumping out at me. I gotta say, listen, I'm trying to figure out where I left you guys' comments here. Let me see what y'all said. Because who was the last one? I think it was Acacia. Somebody said something about BJ not being all that. Said, damn, well, I guess oh, there it is. It was you, Shem. Shem says, Ryan is an average looking guy. Nothing wrong with that. Most of us are average looking people. I think the same of Channing Tatum. And I can agree. Oh, you're talking about not BJ, you're talking about Ryan. Yes, and I can agree with that. Yeah, he's average. But they always try to hype up average or below average as if they're hot. And I cannot stand it. Like, do not play with my intelligence. Please. Right? Hang on, Shem. I'm going to get back to this comment. I want to see what some people had to say about the BJ Novak thing. What do you guys think about BJ Novak and Mindy's situation? And I think we all see that, like, that's the baby daddy, right? Theo says, for someone who claims to be an advocate for Indian Americans, Mindy always portrays these characters exactly, very stereotypically, and the girls always end up with white men. What's that about? That's the internalized racism. That's what it is, right? And we saw some of this with another actor, Aziz Ansari, you know, and listen, his show Master of None was my guilty pleasure show. Like, my ex and I, we used to watch, like, we watched that thing twice together. Like, it's a really good show. However, there were some things that jumped out to us about, like, the representation of Indian women on the show too, right? And why is it that, you know, when sometimes people of color get into a place where they're able to give, you know, shed a better light, you know, a wonderful light on people from their community, they turn around and do that? Because Aziz did the same thing. He had, you know, some of the Indian ladies on the show that he was, you know, his character was potentially looking into dating. They were like, you know, fresh off the boat, this sort of, like, just, they didn't fit in, and it was, you know, not cool. America says, Mindy felt he was a come up. That's not the fact. Do you think so? Because the way she surpassed him now, whoa, Lord. I guess she says what Kanye said and did. And once they get on, they leave you for a what girl. Yup. And that's exactly what BJ did. And it makes me so sad that Mindy has been putting up with this for so long. I want to see her date. And listen, I don't care what color the man or race or whatever the man that she ends up with, but I want to see her with somebody who loves her, values her, and brings her out in public, claims her publicly. Okay. Courtney says, I'm so behind. I had no idea their relationship was actually, yes, it was. And that's the sad part, because when we watched that dynamic play out on The Office, it was very much like, oh, girl, Kelly, wake up, please, please, please. And just to think that, you know, this brilliant, beautiful, talented woman would subject herself to that kind of dynamic in real life too, at her grown age, crazy, crazy. And I hope so too. Struggle is real. I really, really hope so too. Theo wants Channing Tatum. Listen, I don't get it with him. I won't say he's ugly, but he's just not my cup of tea personally. You know what? Maybe we should do that one day. You know what? One day we're all gonna come with a list of our top 10, top 10 men, top 10 women in Hollywood, and we're gonna dish on that. We have to come up with our own people's hottest list because they've been leading us astray. Mommy says they always hype up below average Europeans when they are with brown, black girls, right? And again, I think that sometimes that has to do with like the internalized, kind of racism that some of them suffer. Because I'm sorry, Mindy, but like doing all of this for BJ. Or BJ Novak, like that is absolutely crazy. It really, really is. What does BJ Novak do anyway, by the way? You know what I know him from? I know him from the Office, of course. And then I also know him from Punk'd. And that's it. Like, what else is he up to, this guy? How is he able to maintain his money? Like, what does he do? Mama Rika says, that's so true. She shouldn't be treated as a dirty secret. She is very, very beautiful. Exactly. She's such a beautiful person. So I really hate this for her. And listen, I wonder how she took the news. Again, I hope that he still comes around for the children and whatnot. Like that whole situation gives me a headache, whatever it is that they've got going on with that. And I hope that, whatever it is, it can at least be consistent for the kids. We're healthy. Courtney says, I'm going to go comment on his Instagram. I have a question. Number 1, how dare you? I love the reference. See people's top 10. Yes. Okay. Why don't we do that? Listen, y'all, we're going to do a top 10 list. Maybe we could even do that on the Friday for Friday's morning report or something like that. We're going to come up with who we think are the hottest. Because listen, everyone's perception is different too, right? Oh my God, not that nonsense. Says Mindy needs to stop dating in that industry. They are the worst. I agree. I want her with like a nice businessman or something like that, where they're flexible too. And because, she travels for her work and this and that and like her hours. So I would like to see her with someone. And people always go, I want to see this person with like a lawyer or a doctor. No, because lawyers and doctors, they're typically confined to where they work, right? Like you're licensed or you're barred or whatever here. So you have to stay here, right? And it's harder to work remotely with these kinds of jobs, especially a doctor, right? And then they already have a lot of hours that they have to work. However, someone who has their own business, typically they're flexible in terms of where they can go. They could travel with you. If you've got to go do like something in Cannes, or if you have to do something in New York or whatever, they can come with you too, right? Or they could be home with the kids or something like that, right? Oh, okay, so apparently he's a writer. What's he write? You know what? I'm going to have to check out his IMDb because I've always wondered, like, what is it? How big is it? From here to here? It's pretty damn big. Oh my God, you guys, why don't we get into Bravo's Love Hotel? How about that? All right, hang on. Paprika had a comment here that I wanted to talk about when it comes to Ryan Reynolds. And let me put up the picture. Paprika says Ryan Reynolds is an old hottie patootie from Frosted Spike Tip era. He has remained hot because of nostalgia from teen crushes and because he's always been hilarious, which adds to his appeal. And I do think that that's something that people really love about him for sure, is his sense of humor. He always got a lot of praise for that. He and Blake, actually. Yeah, they're very popular for it. That is for sure. Now, you guys, why don't we get into Bravo? Listen, because that to me is the only reason she is crashing out over this man. I'm telling you, that's going to be a third leg that he's got on him. So listen, y'all, again, I really, really, really implore you guys. I'm begging you guys to watch Bravo's Love Hotel. I really want to talk about it with people. First of all, can we talk about how amazing these 3 ladies look here? Luann looks absolutely gorgeous and stunning, like a beach babe angel in her beautiful lace dress. Ashley looks like a full-blown vixen, a hottie patati, in her outfit here. And again, if you guys know where this is from, please hook me up. I need to wear this summer. I've been working hard. And Giselle actually looks really chic and elegant as well in her outfit and in her updo. Like, these ladies are killing it, right? Women of like different ages and whatnot, just looking absolutely amazing and ruling the roost with their dating lives. And you love to see it, truly, right? Very fun, very lighthearted show. It's kind of like, The Bachelor, if multiple people could be like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and so I really, really love that. And there were some pretty hot silver foxes. Listen, there are some senior citizens on this, right? Because the ladies are senior citizens themselves, but some of these are hot as hell. Listen, it's all about how you take care of yourself. Age is nothing but a number when you take good care of yourself, right? Like, look how elegant these 3 look, and these 3 are like 50 plus years old. They look incredible. So I'm loving the intergenerational mix that we get there, especially with Ashley also being part of the cast and being younger than them. But there are some guys who kind of red flags, right? So there's this guy who's trying to get with Ashley. And listen, when you look at this guy, you go, okay, he's a nice looking guy. And he's like 45 years old. He's a crypto millionaire. And he's complaining that he never got to find his soulmate to have kids with. And I'm sorry, but is this sexist of me? Men, you can let me know, okay? But to me, if an attractive, well-off, in shape 45-year-old is claiming that he never managed to find his soulmate to get married and have kids with, to me, that's a red flag. I don't know why. To me, it's a red flag. I feel like there's no shortage of beautiful, successful, nice women looking to get married, looking to have children, right? So to me, if you're a man who fits into all of those, right, superficially, and you weren't able to find one of them, I don't know. I don't know that I buy it. I feel like there might be something else. Maybe he's too picky. Maybe, he spent all of his 30s and 40s dating women that are too young for him. And obviously those ladies didn't want to settle down and he dumped them for that, only to try and find another one that's too young for him, trying to settle down, and just never found it. Maybe his standards are absolutely insane. Maybe he's a nightmare to deal with. I don't know. I don't want to put anything on him, right? Because I don't know him like that. But I got to be honest with you. I don't buy it, to be honest with you. I don't. I think that there's something there that we're going to see about him. Maybe he's controlling. I don't know. But whatever it is, I think that he should have been able to find somebody personally. But again, listen, maybe something bad happened to him in life. Maybe something took up a lot of his time or emotional energy and he had to sit out the dating pool. I don't know. But to me, it was a red flag. I think that you could have at least been engaged by now or something. I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't buy it. Here's the thing. How old am I? I'm 31. I'm pushing 32. I'll be 32 October, right? What is my dating range? I don't like to go below, but I might have to now that I'm getting a lot. Hang on, I gotta say it with a straight face. Hang on. Now that I'm getting a bit long in the tooth, I might have to open my dating pool to men who are a little bit younger. And by that, what is that? Maybe like 31-year-olds. So I would put my dating range from like 31 to like maybe like 37 or something like that. And even then, if I find someone who's like 37 or something, never even thought about getting engaged, never thought, like, to me, it's like, I don't know, red flag. It's giving commitment phobe, right? That's what I'm getting. And I agree, East Awesome. She's absolutely beautiful. She has taken incredible care of herself and it shows. It truly, truly does, right? Giselle being shady to the Nigerian guy was very on brand for her. And we will get to that because that was ugly. That was classic Giselle being low-key colorist, being low-key racist. And we've got a long history of her doing this, right? So it wasn't a coincidence that was a question that she asked to the black man on the show. Vera says, this is so true. Okay, listen, see, I'm not the only one, right? Like, ladies, like a man 45 years old, you never found a woman to get at least engaged to, at least married to, have kids with. I don't know. Because listen, I have a friend, listen, he's not my type, but I think that like stereotypically or classically or whatever they call it, like pedestrianly, I think the average person would say he's attractive. Listen, he's 45 years old. He's got a full head of hair. He's in good shape. He's not like super wrinkly or anything like that. He is, I would say he's in the top percentile for his age, for sure. Listen, even like 35-year-old men these days, have you seen them? Have you seen the guts on half of them? The beer bellies on half of them? This man is 45 and he has taken incredible care of himself. Yeah, I would say he's attractive. Damn, a tough crowd. And listen, I know people like this, right? Where they're in their 40s, right? Mid 40s and up. And they haven't been married. And they talk about wanting to get married and wanting to have kids. But you know what the issue is with them? They treat the women well. However, to them, especially if they're making money, it's always, I only have 1 million. I want to make 5 million before I feel comfortable having children. Because when I have children, I don't want to be like, it's always something like some kind of goal where it's like, okay, well, I don't know what age you'll be at that point, right? And so I kind of get the vibe that might have been something with him, but there's something off. That is for sure. And look, it looks like you and I share the same red flag radar, ladies. I love that, right? Bunny says, I hate when older women push their relationship problems on women. He's not looking for a relationship. I kind of wonder if he's just here like, looking to vibe, looking for attention or something, but I don't know. Something is off, right? Exactly. There's a reason. There's got to be a reason. Don't pull a Shannon Sharp. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't, but that might be his problem, right? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, listen, he seems like a nice enough guy, but I do not believe that he is never married, no children at 45 for no reason. He's at minimum, a commitment phobe, maybe even a control freak, right? So now, Luann, speaking of how beautiful our darling Luann is, did y'all see the way that she played those two men? So she had these two guys, and I think she was the first one to really truly be trying to, date between two men at the exact same time. Like, she has always been that girl. Like, she is so confident, and I think it is her most amazing quality, right? Like, she owns her room. She does not care. Like, she wants to have it all, and I love that for her. And so she's got these two guys, and again, these guys are very attractive for their age, in my opinion. They've taken really good care of themselves. They're very well dressed and just chic and whatnot, right? And so she's just trying to vet them and see if they could be her type or not. And then at a certain point, she decides she wants a drink. And so she tells these guys, listen, I'll be right back. I am going to go grab a drink. And so she leaves her shoes with them. And then she heads over to the bar. And so she said she would be right back, right? She told them, don't move. I'll be right back. What does she do at the bar? Luann, she picks up another man and she walks off with him to have a private one-on-one date. And listen, this pisses off the guys. They even say they're going to just leave her shoes there on the beach. They did not like being treated that way. Listen, one thing about Luann, she is a playa from the Himalayas. She does not care. And listen, at her age, after all she's been through with two marriages, two husbands who were cheating on her, I'm not surprised, right? I'm not surprised that she's very lighthearted about what it is that she's looking for at this point. Now, there was something that I did find to be rather odd. It's when Shannon was having a conversation with this guy, Earl the Pearl, right? He seems like a very sweet, very genuine man. He had a wife who was battling cancer. She had it twice, actually. And so he was married for over a decade. However, he was never able to have children with his wife because of the health problems, right? And then her passing away was very sudden. And this man was always there for her. And, that was a really beautiful thing to me, because something I learned was that, unfortunately, a lot of times when wives get sick, the husbands leave, right? So to me, and it's sad to even be saying that, right? Because the sickness and health, right? Like, this is what you're supposed to do, right? But unfortunately, it's not what really happens a lot of the time. And so just hearing that he was there for her was really, really, beautiful, right? And so I like him. So far, he's my number one guy, right? And so something that really stuck out to me in this conversation was that Shannon tells us, I think it's beautiful that he had this true love. I don't think that I've ever had a true love. Shannon, you don't think that you've had a true love? We saw you doing everything you could to keep your marriage together. You were doing witchcraft to keep your marriage together. The freaking lemons, you were seeking everybody to try and make that thing work. I think you loved that man, right? Like, obviously he mistreated you, right? I don't think that was a marriage that she was just trying to keep together for the kids. I think she really, truly loved David. And so now hearing that she doesn't think it was a true love is really, really shocking to me. That's something that I do not personally believe, right? I don't know about you guys. Did you guys believe that? Or is that her trying to cope? Or maybe there's something that we don't know about the dynamics of the relationship. Maybe she woke up and realized, hey, this wasn't a real relationship. Like, he wasn't who he represented himself as being. So I don't count it as a real love or something like that. I don't know, right? I don't know. Oh, thank you, Vera. Really? Thank you. Listen, I'm not that far off. I'm 31. I was 29 just 2 years ago. Thank you. East Austin, how old are you that your age range is 29 to 43? Are you somewhere in the middle? It's so hard. Honestly, it's so hard trying to figure out what is a good age range for yourself. I don't know. Fuel loves Bravo's Love Hotel. It's fun. I love the scenery. Me too. It is so fun. I am telling you guys, just give it a try and you will be hooked. It is a really, really good show. Tadisha says, since Ashley is on Love Hotel, does that mean that she's no longer with Jack Harlow? And that's what I wondered. She said on the first episode that it was over. However, I saw recent photos of her with this man. So I think that she just did it for the money and for the exposure, to be honest with you guys. East Awesome says, Ashley eyeing the old men gave me the creeps. I had to turn it off. And speaking of, that was another thing that I really liked about Earl the Pearl. Let me put up a picture of him again for those of you who forgot who he was or didn't watch yet. But this is, he's an older man. He's like 50 something. I think he's 56 years old, right? And so Ashley was sitting down with him and that younger guy who seems to be a commitment phobe and whatnot. And Earl just gets up and leaves. He's like, listen, the woman is 30 something years old. What am I doing here? Right? Like, he wants to have connections with women his own age. And again, it's sad that you have to applaud a senior citizen man for not wanting to be, fooling around with a, young woman, a woman who could be his daughter. But unfortunately, that's where we're at in the world, right? And I want to go back quickly to Shem talking about her vacation, to come down from the vacation. She still has her tan lines. Good thing I like my work. Otherwise, I'd be mad that I had to work. Oh, damn. Listen, I am so happy that you got to go away, and I'm still so jealous. I hope you had some margaritas for me, please, on the beach. Hey, Ramster, nice to see you, boo. And you know what? I have a comment. Please remind me at the end of today's morning report. I wanted to talk to you, Acacia, and anybody else who's into gardening about some of that stuff that I wanted to get into. East Awesome is 35. Okay, so like you're just that you're there in the middle, which is good. It's good for your dating pool. It's so hard. What is it? 7 below, 7 above? But I can't do 7 below. That's too young. Anyway, y'all, listen. We're going to talk about, and I think Theo had brought this up earlier, we're going to talk about Giselle. Giselle has a long history of being low-key colorist, low-key racist, right? We saw, do you guys remember the TikTok I made of those disgusting comments she made about James Harden's beard? Oh, that beard, he must be hiding liquor in it, watermelon, fried chicken, these sorts of things, right? Like she was saying that about a Black man, right? And then we've seen her make other weird, very borderline, if not full-blown colorist and racist comments on Real Housewives of Potomac over the past several years that it's been on, right? From the very beginning, actually. And so now here she is sitting with this wonderful, normal, elegant, classy Black man named Wale. And so he talks about like a city that he's been to or something like that. And she says, oh, because you went to jail out there. I went to what? And so he's like, oh, like you're profiling? That's exactly what she's doing. Giselle, you're not slick, girl. You're not slick. Like, why would you say that to this man? Especially on camera too, to like put that on him on camera. Like, that is so weird, especially with her like history, specifically of microaggressions towards darker skinned people, whether they're men or women. Like, one day, we're going to put a collage of all of her kind of like racist colorist comments, and hopefully that'll catch up to her, because the fact that she's been able to continuously get away with this for several years is absolutely insane. I still think that the James Harden audio clip should have been a storyline on the Real Housewives of Potomac, because that was major. The housewives were commenting on the video I posted and everything. Karen was commenting on it. She said, oh, that's unfortunate. I think Wendy even commented or liked some things. Like, it was major. Giselle needs to be called out. This is not okay. Len says, that's why I'm team Jamal Bryant. And you know what's bad? When a woman is supporting the cheater, Pastor Holy Whore, right? Like, she is so off. Theo says, I think Giselle implied he was some kind of scammer. Ooh, that's not good. The man's Nigerian. There she goes. Right? So rude of her. Although she was being rude to all the guys, even the ones she liked. I think she thinks it's cute, but it's not. No. And that's the thing. She's just such a mean person always. Even her own daughters say she's a mean person. Like, what is it with her? Like, why is she like that? Life is too short to be such a freaking see you next Tuesday all the time. East Awesome says Giselle had a great father, but her father was also a cult. Yes. Shout out to Ty's Hot Messy History. She's got a wonderful channel here on YouTube where she goes over these like historical moments, right? Like that. I remember that video that she posted, right? Her father was also a colorist that would call dark-skinned Black female activist names. I think that's where it comes from. And it's very sad. Kel says she's such a hateful colorist. I agree. Oh my God, Not That Nonsense says he's cute. What is Giselle's problem? Wow, I agree. Listen, y'all are not here for Giselle, right? Lou says that's why she doesn't like to talk. Yeah, she shuts down any and all conversation about it. It's kind of like, I'm sorry. Shout out to my white co-reporters here who are non-racist, but racist white folks love to shut down conversation about racism, right? If you call out racism, you're racist for calling it out. How dare you? Vera says, and that's why Giselle stays single, period. And listen, here's another thing. She said it on her podcast, what she does in bed, when she's getting railed in bed. Giselle farts when people are boning her. I think that's another reason why the woman stays single. I can't believe she said that on the podcast. I will never forget it. It's just such a graphic, vulgar thing to say. Like, why would you admit that, right? Again, Giselle, shame on you for saying that about this man that, he went to jail. Like that's disgusting. Okay. By the way, when it comes to who the hottest man in the house is, all of the ladies, including Ashley, they think it's this guy. This guy's name is Ralph. They say he's the hottest. So shout out to him. He's very well built. Like this man, he looks amazing, right? How old is this man? I think this man was like late 50s, early 60s, and look at the body on him. Again, listen, there are men in their 20s, 30s who do not look like this. So the fact that this man is in his 50s or 60s and he looks like this, absolutely freaking incredible. I have to give it a standing ovation. I gotta say, some of the men are quite handsome. There's another guy who I find quite handsome. I should have taken a screenshot of him. Do you guys remember Philip? He's handsome, but a little bit feminine. And I think that that's what's like kind of like throwing the ladies off and not really attracting them. We don't see him make any kind of connection with them. He kind of reminds me of Dwight from the early days of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then there was another guy too, who I also found to be kind of similar to that, Nick. And Nick is actually the guy who, and you know what, maybe that's why he never found somebody to get married and have kids with. Because this guy, to me, he also kind of has like this vibe, you know, that may be a little bit off-putting to your average woman. It's just a very kind of like dainty vibe, you know? So speaking of the hottie Ralph, Shannon had a pretty good like connection with him for a little bit. However, Giselle wants to see what he's all about because again, he is the hottie. Everybody is attracted to him and she wants to shoot her shot. And Shannon gets really upset with this. And I think that it's going to turn into a storyline because when they started doing previews for next week's episode of The Love Hotel, they showed Shannon essentially having like a meltdown over all of this. And so I'm really looking into like, I'm really looking forward to what all of this is going to play out like, right? And again, listen, the guy that Giselle did dirty by, you know, portraying him as some sort of a criminal or joking about him being a criminal, I really like him. Wale, he is so elegant, so sweet, so kind, so just, you know, I think he's here for the right reasons, to be honest with you guys. And his little flirtation with Ashley is so fun to me. Like, you know, here he is, he walks her to her room at the end of the night. And so ordinarily you'd think that he did that so that he could kiss her, right? Because this other guy is trying to come in there, right? To get with Ashley. He's like, it's Ashley or bust. That's what Wale says too. And so he steals her. He says, can I walk you to your room? And he just hugs her. And so there was the cutest moment, which is where he's walking back, kicking himself about the fact that he just hugged her and didn't even kiss her. And so he's like, oh my God. And you were just like, good night. So stupid. I was like, oh my God, this is the type of stuff I love to see, right? And so we think that it's all over. And so Ashley, she takes off her shoes. She's just sitting there like, why didn't he kiss me, right? And then before you know it, there's Wale at the door, ready to plant a kisser right on her kisser. And it was really, really sweet. Guys, please, please, please. I love this show. Please, please, please watch it with me. It was so good. Bravo's Love Hotel. I'm telling y'all, it is so damn good. I love it. You guys will love it too. If you like these dating shows, Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle. What is that one where all of the like Netflix people go on to date? Perfect Match. These sorts of things you are going to love. Bravo's Love Hotel. It is so good. Okay. Now let me catch up on some of y'all's comments. And actually listen, please, please, please. Ramster and Acacia, remind me. I wanted to talk to you guys about this gardening thing too at the end when I finish with this Bravo thing. Lou says he was from my city. He insulted Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. That was exactly it. And I'm so ashamed about that. Like, what is that? You know what? Can we talk about this? And listen, I'm not African-American, so I don't know the exact dynamics down there. But from my observation, I'll tell you what I see about people like Giselle's father, Giselle and Robin. Okay. I'm just going to take a sip of this water before I tell you my perception. And y'all could tell me if I'm wrong, but I'll tell you my perception. Have you ever seen anyone drink water so suspiciously? This is my perception about people who are multi-generationally mixed. Black people sometimes, not everybody, but sometimes. Sometimes it feels like they want to, because listen, the Black community is very famously colorist, right? Like we have a colorism problem in the Black community, right? And so I feel like people like Giselle, her father, Robin, they like to entrench themselves a lot or like all of this specifically for the benefits of that colorism. You know what I mean? And so it really comes out in the way that they speak, you know, and the way that they treat, you know, Black people, specifically dark-skinned Black people. That's the vibe I get. But listen, maybe y'all have a different vibe, but that's just the vibe that I get there. Just saying. So sad to be a colorist in 2025. I agree. That was really ugly. And I think that she should publicly apologize for that because it's not cool. It really isn't, right? I'm sorry for the visual that Theo's talking about. For those of you who are just joining us, Giselle said on her podcast that like she farts during sex. Sorry. She said it. And listen, if I had to hear it, you all have to hear it too. Well, you think he's a silver fox? He is handsome, right? Look at him. He has taken such incredible care of himself. He looks the F good. Ralph, you are a good look. And he seems, so far, we don't know too much about him, right? He's only spoken a little bit, but I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about him. But I'm scared that he's going to do something really like scary, like, you know, that to set Shannon off. I hope she's just jealous and that he didn't do something scary, but like, it's worrisome. Right? Hey, Elise, well, my Bob twin. I thought that was me in the picture. I didn't even recognize. I was like, oh my God, girl, is that me and my Bob? Nice to see you, Elise. My first live morning report. So happy to be here. Home with COVID. What? At least I could finally enjoy it. What a throwback. Girl, I'm so sorry to hear you got COVID. Damn. Did you lose like your ability to smell and taste and all of that? Or is it kind of like just, let me know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Elise. I hope you're having a good time, though. He looks like Jack's solid arms. Now, why would you do that, East Austin? We were having a good time admiring a good-looking man. And here you come, comparing him to Jack's Demon Taylor. Please. I wish I had a photo of him, East Austin. But if you search the cast of Bravo's Love Hotel, Philip is him. Very, very handsome. But I think that is what is throwing the girls off. These are very traditional ladies who like a guy who has like more of a masculine energy. And he just doesn't have that. But he seems, did you not get that same vibe? But he seems like a really, 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 really smooth, not smooth, a really sweet guy. And yes, I think Nick gets into Botox and whatnot. He's another one that kind of has this energy that's a little bit more on the feminine side. No shade to them, but that's just what I've been picking up from them, right? Paprika says, hearing dating ranges made me think, am I weird that any more than 1 year younger than me has always, yes, I'm the same way, right? Like, I can't do it. Listen, I was telling you guys this story when it was happening last year. I met this guy, and you know what? I might actually be going there tonight. I like the salsa dance. You guys know this, right? And so there's this place, shout out to the Comptoir Général in the 11th arrondissement. So I went there. I went salsa dancing with some of my friends. And so I met this guy who was so hot. He was like so tall. He was like Haitian, and he had just finished law school, right? And then he tells me he's 25. I say, oh my God. At this time, I'm like 30, 31. And the idea of being with a guy 5 years younger than me was just, it felt like I was robbing the cradle. I felt like a total creep. Like, shout out to you guys who like him younger. I can't do it. I'm the same way as you, Paprika. Even 365 days younger is like, oh, I'm having a panic attack. Lou says he's a gatekeeper, like the brown paper bag types. Whoop, there you go. Hey, Ilda, nice to see you. Welcome to your first morning report. And that's the thing. Yes, I would actually even say pretty much all communities are colorist, unfortunately. I don't know why, but we always have to have something that divides us. Whether it's skin color, whether it's religion, whether it's height, whether it's weight, whether it's just always something. And it's just so damn annoying. When will we live in peace? I'm telling you. East Awesome says the older generation had a lot of colorism, but it improved in the 70s from the Black Power movement. A significant number of Black Democrats are surprisingly colorist on the inside. I love it. Listen, here's the thing with the Black Power movement. Can we talk about the leaders and who they were marrying? The Black Power. No, I don't want to shake the table. It's very early for you guys. I'm going to stop. I got to stop, right? RCS says all the isms are human in nature. Yep, unfortunately, we are programmed for it. It's in us. Let's give ourselves a break. I like that. You know what? Yes. I hope that we work on it. I really do, because it's very unfortunate. She doesn't care, says, I'm waiting for the crazy Shannon moment. Oh, just you wait, right? So he had to step back from ESPN with all the controversy, but you'll see. Here I am thinking you're talking about Shannon Sharp. Yes, Shannon, she's going to be crashing out episode 2 or 3, so stay tuned. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what caused that too. Elise says, Grace, I love being Bob Twist with you. You're so cute. Thankfully, I have not lost my taste completely. It really has been just like a bad cold. Oh, thank God, because that sounds absolutely horrific. Get well soon, Elise. I am so sad to hear that you got COVID. Oh my goodness gracious, not fun. East Awesome says lawyers are some of the worst partners. Oh, don't I know it? Listen, I got so traumatized by when I left the country. Anyway, listen, are Acacia and Ramster still here? And any of you guys who have like gardens, backyard gardens or anything like that, there was a story about what was going down in Spain, and shout out to my Spanish co-reporters or my Portuguese co-reporters. Did you guys hear about like how power went out in those countries, right? For about 18 hours or so. And so I was looking and I was reading the news and stuff and just hearing about the way that people ransacked the grocery stores. Like they were posting videos and whatnot in the grocery stores about how difficult it was to find food. Because similar to, and shout out to you, Elise, talking about COVID, right? Similar to the COVID era, where people were going to the grocery stores, stocking up on everything, right? Toilet paper, food, everything, non-perishables. That really, it continued to motivate me, because y'all know, all of this it turned a light on in my head. I've always really loved the city and whatnot, but with the way that COVID went down and whatnot, and now seeing this has further motivated me that you really need to grow your own food, your own vegetables, these sorts of things, because you really never know when an emergency is coming and you might have to rely on yourself. I sound like a doomsday prepper, but it's true, right? Just look at what happened. We lived through it. We know. And if you're Spanish, you're living through it for a second time, going to the grocery store and finding no food, right? And also, even if you can't grow food, because maybe you live in an apartment or something like that, having space, these things are so more important to me than ever, right? Because you really never know what the future holds. And so now space to be able to carry, in case of emergency, a lot of, food, being able to grow my fruits, my vegetables, all of that is so important right now. So, you know what, my heart goes out to those of you in Spain. Thankfully, the power is back, but just imagine starving because because I live in a small apartment. I only have a 1-bedroom apartment. I wouldn't be able to store food to last a week or something like that, right? And so just imagine that, not having anything, no power, no food, no nothing. That was harsh. It really, really was, right? Acacia also says, don't forget to connect with local farmers, right? Really, just take care of yourselves, you guys. I don't know what's going on with life lately, but I don't know. It's not looking good. Paprika says, yes, not doomsday, just realistic. Thank you. It's really scary what's been going on with the world lately. And, it just really feels like this is just the beginning. Bunny says, Walmart and Target executive told Trump U.S. grocery shelves will be empty by May 2025. Ooh, exactly right. This is guys. Right? Please, please, please. If you can, even if you have a balcony, even if, you're just growing potatoes inside or carrots because you don't really need things that, you know what I mean? Something it's really scary stuff. It really, really is. Shake that. Listen, I did. Listen, I shook it a little bit and I said, let me just leave that little comment there, that question there. Ramsey says there's this enormous professional greenhouse and COVID hit and he started out renting plots. So it's really this one. Oh, I love that. That is amazing. Listen, y'all, please, please, please do what you can to be self-sustainable, whatever that might look like to you, or to at least have non-perishable goods in your house at all times. You really never know what's going to happen. I want to have my parents have this in our house in Canada, those meat freezers, those freezers downstairs. So you have enough, Anyway, y'all, U.S. docks are shutting down because there's no ships to unload. And, I really feel for you guys in America, the world really has turned its back on you guys at this point, just because of, the tariff wars, the threats of wars with people too, it's the relationship with Canada, I'm sad. We were neighbors. I used to be in the US all the time, but now the idea of going there is just gives you anxiety just based off of the threats of war and just all this other stuff. It's really sad. It really is. I wish we were in a better place. Oh, Moon Baby, thank you so much for the super chat, Moon Baby. She says, I am so happy to catch a live. Hi from Salt Lake City, Utah. Hello, Salt Lake City, Utah. That is amazing. Your place looks so beautiful. Whenever I'm watching Housewives of Salt Lake City, I'm like, that looks like a really beautiful place. I would love to go skiing there. Utah and Alaska. Alaska is another place I have to visit. It looks absolutely stunning. Bristol from Teen Mom, when they would show us the landscapes, for her scenes, I would be like, that is a beautiful ass place. That is, wow, stunning. Start growing some of your own. Yes, please, you guys, please, 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 whatever you can do, try to grow whatever you can, right? Grow bags go a long way. Paprika says, in an apartment, don't forget to utilize every inch of space, cans underneath. Oh, that's smart. And listen, let me take this down. This is a pull-out bed. So when the bed pulls out, there's a little thing. So maybe you're right. It's empty for now. It's a little cubby. Y'all, you got to do what you can. Please, please, please make sure you have backup food at all time. Please, 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 please. You really never know what's going to happen. When I saw it in Spain and Portugal, it was heartbreaking. Truly, truly heartbreaking. Like that, within a day, right? As soon as the power went out, people said, we're going to that grocery store. We're ransacking this. We're taking it. So nobody else, it was very sad. Melen says, Grace, congrats. Thank you. Isn't that amazing? Listen, what happened with you guys down there in the States? Canada said, absolutely not. Before there was a chance that we would go conservative, But they said, absolutely not. We're not going down like that. And so people went out like crazy. And yeah, so that's really amazing news. Ramster says, grow all kinds of tomatoes, big ones, green string beans, snake beans, or origin Suriname, straw and other berries, cherries, I want cherries so much. Cauliflower, cucumber. Yes, you can easily grow on balconies, windowsills. See, yes, if you guys even have a balcony. I unfortunately do not have a balcony. But again, this is why I'm so motivated to move. I need space. I need space. I'm freaking out. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for another amazing episode of the Morning Report. I loved our little chat at the end there too. And shout out to you, Acacia, Kels, Ramster, anybody giving tips about gardening and self-sustainability. Listen, let's all pray together. It's scary stuff. And get well soon, Elise. So sorry about you having COVID. And Star, I hope you're feeling better now. I know you're still in bed, but I hope you're feeling better. Take good care of yourselves, you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about more of the day's hottest stories. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up. I gotta open the window. I'm melting here. Bye, guys. Take care.